Eddie, sit. What a good man. Looks so handsome. Welcome everybody back to the YouTube. Okay guys, back in the barn. Kind of like last time, it's a little chilly in the morning, but it's warming up pretty quick. I'm gonna spend a good amount of time warming up. Just make sure you get really warm today. We're gonna be starting with some snatch waves. So if you guys don't know what waves are, it's typically when in a strength session where you have decreasing number of reps and weights are going up, and then you repeat it. So today we're doing 3-2-1, 3-2-1, 3-2-1, but each wave is gonna be heavier than the last. So the 3 in the first set is gonna be lighter than the 3 in the second set, and that one's gonna be lighter than the one in the third, same with the 2s and the singles. It's a good way to work on technique. I'm gonna get up to just under 90% today for the snatches, so we're gonna end on 230. Hopefully have no misses, try to be super intentional, try to be fast, pull myself under the bar, and focus on keeping my weight in the toes in the pool, just like we have been last couple videos. Try to stop myself from jumping back too much. So to start the general warm up, I'm just gonna go ahead and start a timer, sit in the bottom of an air squat for 5 minutes. Zach Tellender kind of popularized this, but I've seen a lot of other people do it before. I like to start with it and then do the other more overhead stuff, the more specific positions, and then kind of get going into it. So here we go. All right, so starting the first wave here at 190. So first wave is 3 at 190, 2 at 200, 1 at 210. All right, I didn't mention this at the start, but I did start a clock every 2 minutes, just to kind of give myself something to work off of. It doesn't have to be super strict, but I like just having something running and kind of telling me when to go, so it just takes one less thing to think about out of it. Anyways, going on to the second wave, we got 3 at 200, 2 at 210, 1 at 220. That was a bad double. All right, got a little impatient on the double of that wave, but that's a good thing about waves. Have an opportunity to do that weight again, even if it's more reps, or you have an opportunity to do a double again, even if it's heavier. So try to fix it in this last wave. We're going 3 at 210, 2 at 220, 1 at 230. That was better. All right, last rep. Try to make it a good one. That was okay. All right, waves are done. I was pretty happy with that last single. I think if I were to do it again, I'd really focus on pulling under. So there was a couple times throughout the wave where I didn't do that, and then I fixed it on the next one. So I was thinking about that on the last one, but I got kind of hyper focused on making sure I got my head through, because sometimes if I kind of half commit to it and I'm here, I'll just lose forward. And I didn't want to have any misses, so I still made it because I was focusing on that, but it kind of hit me a little bit in the bottom. Whereas if I was pulling under, I would kind of always know where it is and I'd be able to just catch the bounce out of it, not really have to pause for a second in the bottom. Just make it a little bit easier, a little more efficient. So when you're doing stuff like that, just know even when you're done, you still gotta find stuff to take away from it. Write it down somewhere so that next time you can kind of work on it. Now we're gonna get into some snatch pulls. I'm gonna do a floating pull, so I'm just gonna hover like an inch off the ground in between them. And I'm actually gonna stay pretty flat-footed throughout these. Even through extension, I'm just gonna focus on keeping my heels down, just to reinforce staying flat-footed as long as possible. See a lot of people come onto their toes as soon as they start to pass their knee, and it's just a lot weaker of a position than staying in your heels as long as you can until you get to that hip, and then you can really drive. So that's what I'm gonna be focusing on for these pulls. Go a little bit heavier than I did the snatches at, and then we'll get into a Metcon. All right guys, so for the Metcon, we got 4 sets, 12 calorie echo bike, 16 toes to bar, 18 dumbbell snatches with the 70, then back down, so 16 toes to bar, 12 calorie echo bike again. It's a little bit less on the calories than you would typically see or than I typically write for myself, but I've been working for a while on being able to maintain a decent pace across like 20 plus calories. And I have seen a lot of improvement, and it's still probably where I need to work the most on. But still, every once in a while I want to touch on like the shorter ones and just be able to ramp it up pretty quick and move on to the next thing. So that's kind of the purpose of that today. Going to practice having a fast pace on the bike and still having a lot of stuff to do, moving on to that. And then plus you get the one at the end, and we got 4-minute rest between sets. So you can kind of push that one pretty hard too, since you get to rest for a while. Toes to bar, try to keep these unbroken. This is kind of the number where I think I should be able to keep it unbroken. Maybe 18, I think I could. And then 20s would probably start to get to the point, especially with the dumbbell snatch in between. That's also another grippy movement that I don't know if I would be able to. So just kind of touching the limit on those. And then the dumbbell snatch, 18 with the 70 is kind of a lot for me. So we'll see how it goes. I would like to be able to just do them straight through, but it just depends on how the toe bar make my grip feel, if I can hang on to that dumbbell or not. All right guys, all finished up with the Metcon. To be honest, didn't really go as planned, didn't go very well. I think in the grand scheme of things, it was probably a good thing to work on going unbroken on the dumbbell, but I don't think it would be the fastest way for me to do that workout in the shape that I'm in right now. I just have pretty poor hinging endurance, and that comes from having poor hinging strength in general. I think that's part of the reason I didn't do great in quarters this year. And like I've said before in past videos, I think the test of quarterfinals this year was a really good test. It was really well balanced. It just happened that a few of the things that showed up were what I have the biggest holes in. So I think it just goes to show you need to be really well rounded, because the goal isn't just to, you know, make it out of quarters. The goal is to make it as far as I can, so that those holes are gonna get exposed at some point, no matter how far you make it. So I think you just have to be really well rounded. So workouts like that are a good reminder for me. Obviously right now, I don't need to be in as good of metabolic shape since I'm not training for anything specific. I'm kind of in an off season working on strength. So I have been focusing on my hinging strength. But as I get closer to any competitions, that'll start to turn into working on the hinging endurance. But it just shows you guys not every session can be perfect. Not every piece within a good session has to be perfect or has to go the way that you thought it was going to go for you to still get something out of it. So I'm glad I did that workout. I'm glad it went the way it did. Take it as a reminder, take it as an opportunity to show you guys that no matter what level you're at, whether you're making semifinals, you're a games athlete, or you just want to get a little bit better in the open every year, not everything's going to go your way all the time. And that can be a good thing. If everything went your way, then that probably means your training isn't super balanced and you're just doing the things you're good at. So it's good to be reminded of what you suck at sometimes. I hope you guys can take something away from this video. Leave a like. Make sure you comment if you did take anything away from it, or if you have any ideas for future videos, anything like that. I'll see you guys in the next one. Come on, Eddie.